What's going on, guys? Britta here. I'm back with Free Code Camp, and we're going to be starting to learn the CSS box model by building a Rothko painting. I hope I said that right. I don't know if I did. Anyway, here's a preview of what we will be building. I'm not entirely sure why we're building this, but cool. Let's get going. By now, you should be familiar with the basic elements an HTML page should have. Set up your code with a doc type declaration. So, doc type HTML. Set language to English, a head element and a body element. So we're gonna close this HTML here. We're gonna do a head element, close it, and a body element, close it, and then in the head we're gonna do I forget how to set the language. Let's check. Your code should have a doc type. Okay, I do have one. Alright, you should have an HTML opening tag with a lang attribute of in. HTML equals in for English. Your code should have a doc type declaration. I don't think that's right. So that's the doc type HTML, and then we do HTML equals in. Lang equals in. Come on, Britter. All right. Escape velocity reached. Submit and go to next. Within the head element, add a meta tag which sets the char set to UTF-8. So meta char set equal UTF-8, and then a title element with the value Rothko Painting / title. Right? Within the body element, add an image element with a source equal to https:// freecodecamp.org curriculum/css-box model. We should have probably just copied this. Diagram-1.png. Okay, I got it up there. Alright, on to the next one. In the CSS box model, every HTML element is treated as a box with 4 areas. Imagine you receive a box from your favorite online retailer. The content is the item in the box, or in our case, a header, paragraph, or image element. Change the source attribute in the image from to. So we're just going to change this from diagram 1 to diagram 2. Alright. The content is surrounded by a space called padding, similar to how bubble wrap separates an item from the box around it. Think of the border like the cardboard box your item was shipped in. Change the source attribute to diagram 3. Margin is the area outside the box and can be used to control the space between other boxes or elements. Here, the bottom element has a larger top margin, pushing it further down the page. Now that you understand the CSS box model, let's get started on the Rothko painting. Remove the image element. Okay. Delete. Whoops. Okay. Add a div element in the body. Div. Set the class attribute equal to canvas. Div class equal canvas. For example, div class equals my div. Okay. Submit. Before you can start styling the div you added, you need to link your CSS to your HTML. Add a link element to link your styles. So link element, set the equals link href equals styles.css. And remember to set the rel attribute to style sheet. Rel equals style sheet. Okay. Time for CSS. Even though your div has no text, it's still treated as a box with content. Write a CSS rule that uses the .canvas class selector, so .canvas, and set its width to 500 pixels. Here's a CSS rule that sets the width of the card to 300 pixels as an example. Add the height property with the value 600 pixels to your canvas rule. Change the background color of the canvas. Background color to 4D0F00. Alright, we got us a brown box there. Congratulations. Alright, every painting needs a frame. Wrap the canvas element in another div. So we got this one, so we want to do div. And we're going to wrap it, so we're closing it here. Give that div the frame class. Class equals frame. Alright, we're rolling right along on this one pretty quickly. Alright, write a new rule using the .frame class selector. So .frame. Use the border shorthand declaration to give the frame elements a solid black border, 50 pixels. Alright, and you can see it went ahead and applied it. The frame is much too wide, and the .frame set its width to 500 pixels. Width, 500 pixels. Okay, it made it smaller. Congratulations on your code passes. Submit your code to continue. Alright, we're 29% of the way through, guys. Alright, use padding to adjust the spacing with an element. In the frame, use the padding shorthand to increase the space between the .frame and .canvas elements by 50 pixels. The shorthand will increase space in the top, bottom, left, and right of the element's border and within the canvas. Use margins to adjust the spacing outside of an element. Use the margin property. Give the frame element vertical margin of 20 pixels and the horizontal margin of auto. This will move the frame down 20 pixels and horizontally center it on the page, which is what happened. Add a new div element inside your canvas element. Give the div the class attribute with the value of 1. This will be your first rectangle. Write a new rule that targets the .1 and set its width to 425 pixels. Now set the height to 150 pixels. Congratulations. Alright, set the background color to B762. And now we can see our rectangle. Congratulations. Alright, use margins to post the .1 element on the canvas. So add the shorthand margin property with the vertical margin of 20 pixels and a horizontal margin of auto. Now 1 is centered horizontally, but its top margin is pushing past the canvas and onto the frame's border. shifting the entire canvas down 20 pixels. Add padding of 1 pix to the canvas element. Adding 1 pixel of padding to the top, bottom, left, and right of the canvas changes dimensions to 502 pixels by 602 pixels. Replace the padding property with overflow. Wait a minute. Take this all out. Overflow set to hidden. Oh my gosh, if I can spell. Changing the canvas back to its original dimensions. Add another div with a class, div class value of 2 just below your 1 element. This will be your second rectangle. Create a new CSS rule, .2, and set its width to 475 pixels. Set the height to 200 pixels. Set the background color to 8F0401. And now we can see our other rectangle. Center the 2 element by setting its margin to auto. Create a new div with a class, div class equals 3. What did I do there? Added something I didn't need to. Okay. You don't always have to use pixels when sizing an element. Create a new rule, .3, set its width to 91%. Set the height to 28%. And change the background color to number B to 403. And there's our third box. Center using margin, auto. It's helpful to have your margins push in one direction. In this case, the bottom margin of the 1 element pushes 2 down 20 pixels. In the 2 selector, use margin shorthand property to set top margin to 0, horizontal to auto, and bottom margin to 20 pixels. This will remove its top margin, horizontally center it, and set its bottom margin to 20 pixels. The colors and shapes of your paintings are too sharp to pass as a Rothko. Use the filter property to blur the painting by 2 pixels in the canvas element. Here's an example of a rule that adds a 3 pix blur. So we're already in the canvas element, so we're going to use filter blur 2 pixels. Doesn't pass. Oh, I see what we got to do. Blur 2 pix. There we go. Alright, create a rule that targets both the .1 and .2. So we're going to do .1 comma .2 and increase their blur effect by 1 pixel. Blur 1 pix. I don't think that's right. Yeah, so it should be filter blur 1 pix. Increase the blur of .3 by 2 pixels. So we're already in .3, so filter blur 2 pix. The rectangles are too small and their edges don't have the soft quality of a painting. Increase the area and soften the edges of the dot 1 by selecting its box shadow to 0, 0, 3 pixels, 3 pixels, number EFB762. Use the same box shadow declaration for 2, but change the color. Okay, so change the color. So where's the first one? 0, 0, 3 pixels, 3 pixels. Change the color to 8F0401. Alright, add a box shadow to 3. 0, 0, 5 pixels, 5 pixels. Number B, 20403. Congratulations. Okay. The corners of each rectangle are still too sharp. Round each corner of the one element by 9 pixels using the border radius property. So we're going to do 9 pixels, and you see it rounded these edges over. Use the border radius property on 2, and we're going to do 8 pixels. Okay, so that's 8 pixels. Top left and bottom right radius to 8 pixels, so 8 pixels, and then 10 pixels. I think it's supposed to be, yeah, you should set border radius 8 pixels, then 10 pixels. That's what I thought. And then get rid of this last one. That should be right. Okay. The border radius property accepts up to 4 values to round the top left, top right, bottom right, and bottom left corners. Round the top left corner of 3 by 30, the top right by 25, the bottom right by 60, and the bottom left by 12. So border radius, and we're going to do, so I think they're trying to trick us here. Around the top of 30, maybe not 30, 25, 60, and then 12. Yep, there we go. Rotate each rectangle to give them more of an imperfect hand-painted look. So use transform property selector to rotate by 0.6. Is that right? I don't think that's right. Oh, here we go. It shows us how to do it. So rotate minus 0.6 degrees. Get rid of that. Still doesn't pass. Rotate oh, I can't spell. That's the problem. Form. Okay. Rotate the 2 by element clockwise by 4 degrees. So transform rotate 0.4 degrees. Rotate 3 counterclockwise. So transform rotate 0.2 degrees. 0.2 degrees. Oh, I have to subtract it because it's counterclockwise. Okay. Alright guys, I think we're done with the painting, so submit. Yes, we are. Alright, we have completed the Rothko painting all in one episode too. That's awesome. So next episode, we're going to be doing Learn CSS Flexbox by building a photo gallery. I want to thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye!